Joining us here on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line right now is the aforementioned new head coach of the New Orleans Saints, Dennis Allen. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Rich, how's it going, man? I'm doing outstanding here.
I'm doing fine. I just survived May the 4th last night, trying to decide which Star Wars movie to watch with my 3 children, and it was bedlam. It was totally bedlam. So
yeah, just in time for Cinco de Mayo, right?
Yes, that's right. Just in time for me to need a drink. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, before we get started, just wanted to say I appreciate you having me on and making sure I'm ahead of Terry Fontenot, not behind Terry Fontenot. So that was good timing on your part.
It is. I appreciate. You know what? I gave you first up. We had that spot. Timing's perfect. I know. But you're born in Atlanta, right? Isn't that correct? You've got an Atlanta history.
Yeah, I was.
Right?
I was actually born in Atlanta. My dad played for the Falcons from 68 to 72. He was a linebacker. And so I was actually born in Atlanta and actually spent some time working there under both Dan Reeves and Jim Moore.
That's right. But you're an R.C. Slocum guy though. First up, right? And when you say that,
yeah,
correct? From
absolutely.
Texas A&M?
You know, I'm Aggie through and through. You know, it's amazing how your family kind of carries you to where you go in life, and you know, my dad played at A&M, and so then my older brother and myself and my younger sister, we all played at Texas A&M or went to Texas A&M, and then, you know, all of us were born in Atlanta, Georgia. So kind of a cool experience how everybody, you know, kind of follows the same path. But yeah, RC was my college coach, and man, what a great experience being able to have an opportunity to both play under him and then started my coaching career under him. So it was pretty awesome.
Do you still reach out to him? You just still chit chat with him, or
yeah? As a matter of fact, we talked. You know, before I got this job, and then after I got the job, we've talked a couple of times, and you know, RC had a battle with cancer and fought through that, and you know, is on the up and up now, and was really a big impact in my life.
Dennis Allen, new Saints head coach here on the Rich Eisen Show. When was the first time you got an indication that Sean might decide to just no longer be the coach in New Orleans? And when was the first time you got that sense about Sean Payton, Dennis?
Yeah, look, well, certainly when you're in one spot for 16 years, you know, all good things come to an end at some point in time. So you knew there was going to be some point where Sean would decide to, you know, move on and do something different. But it was sometime, you know, after the season was over. I know that he, you know, took some time, went down to Cabo, knew he was, you know, having some thoughts there, and so I'd say it was probably, you know, a week or two after the season before I really, you know, knew that this was kind of a possibility.
And then you chat with ownership, and then the process comes out with you being the head coach there. How much, like, what from your first experience, obviously, you know, it didn't work out with you in Oakland, but what from that first experience do you bring into this now, where you know, okay, I know this, that, and such will be different, and I'll handle it differently, whatever that this, that, and such is?
Yeah,
Dennis
look,
Allen.
I mean, you know, I won't get into like any specific examples as to what, but you know, the first thing that I think about is I've just been through a lot more than when I took over in Oakland. I've seen a lot more. I've experienced a lot more. You know, I just kind of know how to manage a team better. You know, when I went to Oakland, I was a defensive coordinator for 1 year in Denver. And I went to Oakland in a situation where I was a first-year head coach, and Reggie was a first-year general manager, and Mark had just taken over for his father as the owner of the team. And so there was a lot of firsts that were going on at that time, and now I experienced that for 2.25 years there in Oakland, and now I come back to New Orleans, and I get a chance to sit back in New Orleans and be the defensive coordinator and watch Sean Payton work and watch how Mickey Loomis handles his business as the general manager, and I see the communication between the personnel department and the coaching staff that takes place, and so I've just seen how it really works, and so I think I'm better prepared for that. And I know this. I've got more confidence in myself, and I know that I've got to do it my way, and that's the only way that you have a chance to have success and make it work.
Obviously, you're elevated in an established program that you helped establish on one side of the ball. How will things look different or similarly to the Sean Payton era? I mean, it's been a while since Saints fans have had to get used to something new. How familiar might the new look like, Dennis Allen?
Well, look, I think one of the first things that I wanted to do when I got the job is I wanted to keep the continuity within the organization, within the staff, and so I was able to keep Pete Carmichael on as the offensive coordinator. I promoted Ryan Nielsen and Chris Richard as co-defensive coordinators. Was able to keep Darren Rizzi here as the assistant head coach and special teams coordinator. So a lot of the systems and a lot of the schemes are going to stay the same. A lot of the ways that we do things are going to stay the same. I'll just kind of put my own spin and my own flavor to it. But look, a lot of times you get into these situations and you become a head coach and you're going into some of these programs that are maybe a little bit down and out at the time. I feel like I'm very fortunate in that I'm taking over a job that it wasn't broken. There's a lot of really good things that have been done here over the last 16 years, and a great culture has been built. And I'm just trying to really kind of keep that going and put my own little tweaks on it as we go along.
Right, and then this team had a chance to make the playoffs last year if results in Week 18, which I still have to get used to saying, had worked out. Dennis Allen here on the Rich Eisen Show. How is Jameis doing? How does he look? We saw some video of him having somebody try to slap the ball out of his hands while trying to. His footwork looked terrific. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think he's doing well in the rehab process. One of the things about Jameis is probably one of the hardest workers that I've been around. He's just got a tireless work ethic, and he loves football, and that's his life. Like, he does everything is all about ball to him, and so he's working his tail off and really doing a really good job in the rehab, and I like where he's at.
And so is he your Week 1 starter? Do you think he's going to be healthy enough to start Week 1, Dennis?
Well, certainly that's certainly the plan.
Right.
And there's a lot of days between now and Week 1, but we certainly like where he's at right now. We like the progress that he's making. Man, I really loved a lot of the things that he did last year for us. 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I mean, there was just some really good stuff that you see. And my vision and my hope is that he continues to progress on the same level as he gets another year in the system.
And then, we always talk about what teams have added, and I'll get to your draft in a second. Very rarely can you add somebody of the caliber of Michel Thomas, but it looks like that is technically what we keep talking about, everything going on with your team. But forget that can't guard Mike is coming back, right? So it's possible we see Winston to Thomas in Week 1 of the Saints season.
Yeah, that
Coach?
would be our hope. We feel good about what Mike's done in the rehab process. There's still a few hurdles that we gotta climb with any of our guys that had any injuries that they're trying to get back from. But I kind of look at it in terms of we drafted Chris Olave in the first round, but I almost look at it as getting Mike back. It's almost like we had 2 first-round draft choices at wide receiver, so I feel really good about that.
He must have been really happy about you guys trading up for Olave in the same way that I guess McLaurin was upset that the Washington traded down and let you go get Olave. I'm sure, so.
Yeah. Look, it was certainly. We felt like we needed to add some playmakers to our offense. We felt like that was an area that we could improve our football team, and we're really all about just what do we got to do to win games here, and so I felt like he was the player that we kind of targeted, that we knew we were going to get a great person, a tireless worker, tough, smart, highly competitive, one of the best route runners I felt like in this year's draft, and comes from an established winning program where we've had success getting guys out of Ohio State, and
That's right.
man, I just felt like the way the draft kind of fell for us, I felt great about how it worked out.
And then Penning is just a nasty mauler of a tackle. You got him later on in the first round. That seemed like such a no-brainer in a way because you had Armstead leave. What do you think Penning brings to your equation, Coach?
Yeah, I think exactly that. I think kind of a raw, tough, nasty, athletic talent, and there's certainly some development that we've got to do with the player, but really like the potential of this player a lot. Obviously, losing Tyrann Armstead was a big loss for us, and so trying to find somebody that could potentially be that replacement was something that we were looking at. I think my defensive mentality came out just a little bit in that pick, and that it's kind of that tough, nasty type of player.
Yeah, he is exactly that. And the next question I'm going to ask you, and I understand you like these guys, you drafted them for a reason, right? But the conversation about your picks coming out of the draft is who you did not spend them on. Did you consider taking a quarterback at any point in time in the first round, Coach?
Well, look, I would say that we did our due diligence on all of the quarterbacks, and there was a spot in the draft where we felt like we would feel comfortable with all of those guys. And so, it's funny how you kind of have quarterback was not the position that we said, man, we're targeting and we got to go find a way to go get this position. But yet we did our due diligence, and if that's the way that the draft had worked out, then we'd have considered that.
And that's again, because it's tough for me to even figure out, and I sat there for all 262 picks, the exact picks you had going into the draft because of the maneuvers that you and Mickey Loomis made all over the draft board. But the idea was, okay, you're trading into the first round for somebody or to package up to go up top. Did you attempt to do that? Attempt to go top 10, top 5 to go get somebody at some point?
Well, look, I think we explored what options were there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we felt comfortable with we felt like there was going to be a run on these receivers, and that was an area that we wanted to try to address. We felt like there was going to be a run on them kind of in that 8, 9, 10, 11 type of area. And so I think that was kind of the position that we were kind of looking to see if we needed to get into that area to be able to get one of these receivers. And as we started seeing them come off the board a little bit, we felt like at 11 with Washington, the value was there for what we were going to be able to go and get.
Okay, and then last one for you is, we keep talking certainly on NFL Network that the off-season or non-playing season, as we call it, is just one big puzzle piece, right? Where there's free agency, there's draft, and then there's free agency after the draft. And the perfect example of that last part is the Saints going to get Tyrann Mathieu and bring him back home to New Orleans. What will he bring to your equation, in your estimation, Coach Dennis Allen?
Yeah, I think he brings an emotion and energy, a leadership aspect to our football team, and he's been one of the best playmakers in the NFL, over the last 7, 8, 9 years, and so we felt like he was a perfect fit for what we needed and what we like to do. Gives him a chance to come back home. There's an excitement that comes along with that, with bringing him back here, and we're just really excited about having him and think he's going to bring a lot to our team in terms of just playmaking ability, leadership, and just energy.
Coach, thanks very much. Greatly appreciate it. Are you handing out biscuits to the media for the first, or beignets to the media for the first time when you see them? Just like Coach?
I was hoping that Sean would just keep sending them, and that I'd save a little bit in the wallet and wouldn't have to spend for those things.
Man, he set the bar too high, I think. No offense. I mean,
maybe that'll be one of the differences.
Like he's Ted Lasso. I mean, that was ridiculous. At least he stopped talking for you to actually take the job, so that was helpful. That was helpful from him. You take care of yourself, Coach.
I'm going to stay away from that one.
No problem. I can say that, right? Thanks for the call,
okay,
Dennis
Rich.
Allen. We'll do
Take
this
care,
again.
buddy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
That's Dennis Allen, everybody, head coach of the New Orleans Saints, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here